Krishnamande Jagadgurum. Hari Om. Greetings to all the spiritual seekers to today's divine production, yet again on Bhagavad Gita shlokas. In this particular divine production, I would like to link a couple of Lord Krishna's shlokas with his material energy and show how powerful it is and how destructive it is. On the other hand, when utilized properly, it becomes rather a panacea to all types of maladies and troubles. When the intention is destroying something to load over this material world in this Maya, then the consequences are devastating. Devastating not only at that moment of destruction, but also the effects would be carried over for a many number of years for people to suffer from those. There is a lot of collateral damage when the intention is evil and pernicious. You may remember what Ashwatthama wanted to do to satisfy his friend Duryodhan. He launched a sort of nuclear weapons to kill Parikshit while Parikshit was in his mother's womb, and how Lord Krishna saved Parikshit from the destructive force. Ashwatthama also wanted to launch Brahmashirastra to destroy the whole world at the time. In the fight against Arjun, but he failed to do such a colossal destruction at the time. And then how he got cursed by Lord Krishna to suffer forever from irreparable wounds to this day. And for your information, Ashwatthama would be alive for another 426,000 years until the end of this Kali Yuga. That is the power of curse from Lord Krishna. So, the world leaders nowadays must realize this fact. Whatever you do, whatever you sponsor, it should be for the welfare, the greater good, and the welfare of the whole world. Whatever the modern scientists come up with their inventions in many arenas, in the medical field, in the engineering field, and in other areas of science, it has to be utilized properly. The inventions have to be put to good use. At the same time, not only just focusing on the material dharma to invent something new. We human beings, being born as human beings, we must tread the path of spiritualism, never turn our backs to the Lord, who is our mother and father and everything. Do not ever forget our original roots. That's how you can properly use your time. Lord is the one who sets expiration dates on everything. We refer to this in another divine production in the past. All expiration dates are set by the Lord. No one can actually avoid his expiration dates. He is the Mahakal, the great destructive force. No one can stop it. And he can actually make the whole cosmos non existent without any manifestations. This happens only 1 in 311 trillion and 40 billion years. No existence whatsoever. Everything will be absorbed into him. And when he breathes in, then the manifestation again occurs after 311 trillion and 40 billion years of dormancy. This is for sure in the cycle of Mahakalpas in this cosmos. Bhagavan, Lord Krishna, is the one Mahakal. He is the greatest mathematician. He keeps record of everything. That's how you call, we are carried away by the notion that there is Chitragupta and all. That Chitragupta is right. Actually, Chitragupta is right in your own body, in your own antakaran. Paramatma is the one takes note of each and everything and then rewards you from time to time as to how you lead your life and how you experience your karma. That sanchita karma in the form of prarabdha karma. So let's get to the actual topic of today, chanting a couple of shlokas which have relevance to material energy. Okay. So before that, let's pray to Bhagavad Gita, as Bhagavad Gita is the mother of wisdom. Parthaya pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamrutavarshini Bhagavatim Astadashadhyayinim Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini. Ah, ah. Bhagavad Gita was used to instruct Arjuna and whole humankind to tread the path of spiritualism, to perform our duties without focusing on the fruits of your actions to enjoy for sense gratification. Lord Narayan himself used this wisdom to instruct us. Bhagavad Gita is mentioned in Mahabharata. It was written by ancient saint Vedvyas. Bhagavad Gita, you have 18 chapters, 18 different yogs to get involved in the loving devotion of that Bhagavan, where you can seek and attain that abode of peace and bliss. You are the one raining or showering the immortal nectar of wisdom for us to learn and practice. That abhyas we got to do after listening to your stanzas. You preach us the oneness without any duality of the material world. Duality and multiplicity, they come from only the material energy. Therefore, we meditate upon you, O Mother of Bhagavad Gita. You are the one, you are the one who can liberate us from this sansar, this maya, cut asunder all the strong bonds of sattva, rajo, tamo modes of life, of material energy. We meditate upon you, Bhagavad Gita. Amen. So now let's come to the actual topic of today and how a couple of shlokas have relevance to the material energy that we experience. You see, we get the sunlight and we enjoy. We wish the light were there forever. Soft morning or evening sunlight. The sun god works without any exhaustion for the benefit of the whole world. You see, and at the same time, he gets exhausted too. We will come to that aspect at a different time. But you see, the light that you get, it is due to the nuclear, fusion. When the fusion occurs from hydrogen, it's burning, the helium is formed, and some of the energy in due course emanates from that reaction. And that is actually 600 billion tons, 600 billion tons per second of hydrogen is used to convert to the helium. And the energy that we get per second into this world, the sun's rays and the illumination, is about 4 billion tons per second. Imagine that. Huge amount of illumination. Illuminating this solar mandal in this universe by one sun. It is all due to Lord Krishna's right eye as the sun. He empowers the sun to provide us energy so that we sustain our lives on this earthly plane. Such is the power of material energy as well. But you see, the Lord's number one energy is the Atman energy, the spiritual energy. The Paramatman energy is the one very powerful, and yet very subtle. You cannot see with your own eye. You have to be enlightened to understand all that. So, coming to the coming to the destructive force, whatever you get is the constructive energy from the sun. But when man makes a few things with evil mind and then apply that destructive force onto the fellow human beings, how devastating it is. Think about World War One, World War Two, and you see and other wars that have been fought from time to time in this modern age. You know, when the governments or some stupid leaders wanting to lording over this material world to show superiority, we all suffer. We all suffer. They also suffer is self-destruction as well as destroying others. Such entities, agencies, individuals certainly face their karmic reactions, always revolve in the unending cycle of rebirth and death. That is the consequence of doing evil things, having great projects to develop something that is going to pose danger to the whole world. So that's what happened during the Second World War and prior to Second World War. In 1939, many scientists, intellectuals, they migrated to US and the government of Germany under the dominion, under the instructions of Adolf Hitler, they started actually making nuclear weapons using uranium, plutonium, radium, all these destructive materials to destroy other countries in loading over the other countries in this world and to show superiority due to lack of vidya, lack of knowledge. They operate under the tamasic and rajasic modes without having a trace of sattva guna, that sattvic character, the goodness character. That is the main problem. So, you know, Albert Einstein came up with this equation, the modern equation to what Lord Krishna suggested, what has been suggested in Vedas and Bhagavad Gita, E equals mc square, that energy is equal to of its mass multiplied by its speed of light. So, if you take, say, 1 kilogram of material, say, for example, uranium, 1 kilogram, it will produce the energy that is equivalent to 4 billion kilograms of coal when it burns. That much energy is produced given the source activation to that material. So you take a small amount and then you activate it, then you get huge amount of energy. We said this got to be multiplied. The mass of that material has to be multiplied by speed of light per second, which is 186,000 miles per second. That has to be multiplied with its mass to get the energy that particular material produces. So it's all up to you, up to the human mind, whether to use such energy for the welfare of the world or destroying the world. So in 1939, what happened? 1939, Albert Einstein wrote a letter to FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the president of the United States at the time. He wrote that Germany is producing nuclear bombs. Why don't we have a project, a huge project, in order to develop atomic bomb? And Franklin Delano Roosevelt actually sponsored this project under the name Manhattan Project. Einstein was not allowed because he did not get the security clearance at the time. Under the leadership of Dr. Robert Oppenheimer, this atomic bomb was manufactured and tested successfully in the New Mexican desert, called Alamogordo in New Mexico, USA. So they successfully did it in 1945 in the month of July. And just a few days later, less than a month, they actually launched this bomb, atomic bomb, onto Hiroshima in August 1945, killing 80,000 people instantaneously and burning vast area. Colossal destruction happened. Just 3 days later, they dropped another bomb, the 29, on another city called Nagasaki. 40,000 people were killed in that destruction from the atomic bomb. These atomic bombs were actually manufactured from uranium 235 in a reaction called nuclear fission chain reaction. The nuclear fission chain reaction, what happens? The newly produced neutrons, they combine with the nucleus to produce another element, high molecular weight element like plutonium 239. The plutonium 239 is the one that does the damage, colossal damage, life and property. Millions, billions of property and life can be vanquished, can be destroyed within no time. So once this happened, when they tested in New Mexico, in Alamogordo, in USA, Robert Oppenheimer, he was well versed in Mahabharata and Gita. In one of the interviews, he referred to what Sanjaya, who was narrating what was happening in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Dharmakshetra, to the blind king of desires, Dhritarashtra. Sanjaya actually, he describes the effulgence, the greatness, the magnificence of Lord Krishna's cosmic form and how he compares his energy, his effulgence, his brilliance, his radiance to thousands of suns. Thousands of suns. That's what he expressed his sentiment to Dhritarashtra. So did Dr. Oppenheimer in 1945. Immediately, he gave a reference to that particular shlok from Bhagavad Gita. What Sanjaya uttered, he echoed the same stanza. And also, when Lord Krishna was ready to display his cosmic form, that Virat Roop, he was actually doing this in order to convince Arjuna to take action. All in all, just to take action without thinking about the results. That's how he says that. Just focus on your action. Do not focus on the results of your actions, and don't be attached to them as well. And do not be attached to not doing your prescribed duty. You got to do your duty, but you do it for the pleasure of the Lord. Do it for me, Lord Krishna says. Just do as an instrument. Completely surrender to me. I'll take care of you. I will let you progress on the spiritual path and see to it that all your sins be absolved and you serve at the lotus feet of mine, enjoying that peace and bliss in my abode. That's what Lord Krishna says. So let's get to the shlokas we have been referring to. Those couple of shlokas. Divi Surya Sahasrasya Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhaved Yuga Paduttita Yadhi Bhaga Sadrushi Sa Syad Bhasastasya Mahatmanaha Yadhi Bhaga Sadrushi Sa Syad Bhasastasya Mahatmanaha What did Sanjaya do? Soon after, he viewed Lord Krishna's cosmic form. He was ecstatic. He saw great magnificence, that splendor in Lord Krishna. It was like 1,000 suns simultaneously shining forth if they were set ablaze. Such was the radiance, such was the splendor of Lord Krishna. So the same thing Dr. Oppenheimer felt when he was interviewed. He just echoed what Sanjaya expressed his sentiment. At one point, when Lord Krishna was displaying his Virat Roop, that cosmic form, Arjun could not bear with it. He was blinking. He was utterly confused. He wanted to see his Chaturbhuj and the human Krishna's form, that pleasant form. He requests him also, and Arjun asks him, "Who are you, O Prabhu, O Lord? Please tell me your true nature. Who are you? Let me understand this before I take any action. I am ready to follow your instructions. I will do as you instruct. I will perform my duties. But please tell me, who are you?" Then Lord Krishna utters this stanza. Kalosmi lokakshaya krut pravruddho. Kalosmi lokakshaya krut pravruddho. Lokan samahattu miha pravruttaha. Lokan samahattu miha pravruttaha. Vritepi tvam bhavishyanti sarve. Vritepi tvam bhavishyanti sarve. Ye avasthitaha pratyanikeshu yodha. Ye avasthitaha pratyanikeshu yodha. Ah, ah. Lord Krishna was ready to give his answer. Lord Krishna says, I am the Mahakal. I am that destructive force. I am the death. I become the death to all life forms as and when I intend to do. It all depends upon me. I can destroy all the universes. Nothing can exist should I decide to do it. With great force of this death, maybe it is in my second energy, in the material energy, in the nature. I use that. Or I can also use my Yogamaya Shakti, which nobody can understand, with which I do my leelas, my pastimes for my devotees to discuss about, share with one another, and get that ecstasy. Arjun, look, even if you do not participate in this war, I have already slayed Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Shakuni, Jayadratha, and various other Mahayodhas, the great warriors. Already, I killed them. I want you to be an instrument in killing them so the mankind or the humankind knows that one has to stick to the codes and conduct of Sanatana Dharma. This is what I would like to show before we re-establish righteousness, that Dharma, onto this planet. I am telling you to take action. But you see, all the Maharathis, the great warriors from both the opposing armies, they are arrayed and ready to fight. Even if you do not participate, I am becoming that Mahakal, that destructive force to destroy everything. Nothing will exist. I will see to it. There is no future to all the participants in the war. So do as I say. That's what Lord Krishna says in this stanza. मतपरतरं नान्यात् किञ्चिदस्ति धनुञ्जय मतपरतरं नान्यात् किञ्चिदस्ति धनुञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव मतपरतरं नान्यात् किञ्चिदस्ति धनुञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव आ, आ, Arjuna, look, I am like a string, or a thread in a garland, where the pearls are strung on a string and the flowers are there on a thread. You cannot see it. You cannot see the string and the thread. No one else in this cosmos is superior to me. Matta parataram na anyat kinchidasti dhanunjaya. No one else, no other person is superior to me. All is resting on me, just like pearls are strung on a string, or flowers on a thread in a garland. I am like that. Very subtle. You cannot see me with your eyes, physical eyes. You can only see me if I granted you the divine vision, like you saw, you're able to see my Virat Roop, this cosmic form. And Sanjay, also with the divine vision, is able to narrate the as is incidents of this Kurukshetra war. So, humankind, understand this, get this wisdom, and perform your yoga sadhana so that you get to my abode of peace and bliss. Do not disturb the nature. If you disturb the nature, you are not living in harmony with the nature. Then nature actually rears its ugly head and then wreaks havoc in the world, as we have been reeling under the destructive force of COVID-19, this pandemic across the world, devastating the life in every which way. Do not make destructive devices and apply on human beings or any life form in this world. Mind it, you will face the consequences. No escape if you misutilize your material energy. your material energy, with which you are also made up of. But you see, all in all, you have to remember you are not this material energy. You are something else, a non material energy. You are the spiritual energy. You are that Atman energy emanating from Paramatman energy, that cosmic consciousness. And you have your individual consciousness when you are in this body made up of Panchabhutas, those five gross elements. So please utilize your resources in such a way that they are beneficial for the welfare of the world. That's what it is one needs to think about. Some technical problem with my PC. Anyway, I hope that you heard and learned something from these couple of stanzas. And the last stanza of Lord Krishna, that no one else is superior to him. And this actually indicates that there is only one singularity, that is the spirit, that you also have in your own body, in the form of your Atman energy. And in many of the divine productions of this sort, it's being referred to as to, what should be our real identification, and get to that and accomplish your human goals. So Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum, Govindaya Namaha, Govardhanaya Namaha, Rishikeshaya Namaha, Krishnaya Namaha, Pradyumnaya Namaha, Aniruddhaya Namaha. That's all, folks. With another divine production in the days to come for all of you to view and acquire the wisdom from Bhagavad Gita in the form of nectar. So long, folks. Hari Om.